Dave Sarah's a good egg.
One appearance on Kill Tony don't make you a comedian.
Dave Sarah's a good egg.
One appearance on Kill Tony don't make you a comedian.
One, two. Can you guys? Tommy, can you see me? No. No. Um, that's interesting. I guess I need to move myself up here a little bit. Sorry, I'm using Evmux. This is my first. Oh, I know what I did. There we go. Evening, everybody. What's going on out there? Hopefully, you're all having a good evening, and hopefully, I can get this super chat off the air, which is not necessarily the easiest thing for the user to do, but we'll get it done. It doesn't. You know what? Um, yeah, I have issues with it. We're live, by the way. All right, just so you know, don't want to say anything dirty, and let's just do quick sound check. Can we get to hear? There should be a train going by. Can we get to? Will we get to hear one? And cigarette, give me a one if you can hear me, because otherwise I'm going to have the pineapple shitting on me about my audio. But let's just add in Dean. Add to scene. Wow,
Why am I full screen?
you're
Hi.
you're you're taking over.
Yeah.
I
Hello,
don't know why.
everyone. Happy 4th of July. I'm wearing my Kobe jersey just for you Americans.
Well, we're very happy about that. And so do you? What do you guys don't like? Your Australia Day is not like our.
I mean, it's
Is
similar.
I mean, I
Like,
know
it's
it's
obvious.
similar, but it's not as like you don't get all.
Well, we do to an extent. I mean, we're not as overtly patriotic as you guys are, but Australia Day is essentially what you guys do on the 4th of July. We all have barbecues. Like, we don't set off our own fireworks. It's like usually, the government or some, you know, certain entity that does the fireworks. But yeah, we all have barbecues, get together, get drunk, be idiots, like that's the gist of it, isn't it? Well, look at this. This is set up beautifully. I like it.
I have to add myself to the scene and make an Aussie the big guy. I think I understand what happened here now, but it's okay. If I didn't start fucked up, none of this would matter because
It
everybody
wouldn't be a
relies
Schmuel. Yeah, it wouldn't be a
everybody
Schmuel
relies
straight
on me
around.
to do that.
I actually came with a notebook of notes of like, all right, so when Schmuel disappears and you have to run the show for a few minutes, here's what you can talk about.
I
By the
did.
way, I do also want to bring up the arrogance, the sheer arrogance of going live and then saying, "Hey, everyone, sit here for 25 minutes and wait for me."
Well, it wasn't going to. It wasn't. That wasn't supposed to happen. I mean, it was supposed to be. It was supposed to go well, and for some reason, it didn't.
Ozzy, you realize that this is Ray DeVito's mentor.
I know.
So
I
Yeah, that's
I I
perfect. No,
never
do that. Go back to that. I like that.
I never tell anyone that I can help them with their YouTube. I only sort of suggest when I talk to people, it's about biz stuff.
Mm.
So because I yeah I can't help anybody with that.
You know that problem you were having with Super Tip with the voice sounding fucked up?
Yep.
um as soon as I heard it, I knew how to fix it because I did bother Moody about it, and Moody told me to fix in about 10 seconds, and it was all sorted. And I was gonna message you and tell you the fix. I was like, no, it's more fun as he because he says he likes to figure these things out himself. So yeah.
You cost me another $50 because I signed up for Evmux to test that, and that seems to be working. But my actual real problem is with the super tip system itself.
Oof.
Um, like when I play a message, it'll go into a loop, and can't pull it
Yeah,
out. I
because
do have
you
the
gotta because you got the loop toggle on or something like
No,
that.
I don't.
I've never had a problem
Yeah.
playing and removing them off screen or anything. I've never had a problem.
Well, I'm an idiot, so that may be part of it. And I've been officially declared an idiot by Kevin, so it's I can wear it on my chest now. Do you use the buttons on the top at all? The loop and the
The only one I use at the top is the skip, the go to the next one, and that gets text tips off your screen. Otherwise, I play each one individually.
Yeah, so the thing is, if I hit, which is very funny, we're boring our people, so let me
Dave
just
Sarah's a good egg.
One
go through
appearance
there.
on Kill Tony don't make you a
whatever.
comedian.
Guys, I'm gonna not worry about it for the time being. Go ahead and I gotta delete myself and put myself back in. So y'all go ahead and
Perfect.
chat it up. You know.
All right. Oh, and NJ's gone too, so it's just me. Yeah, it's just me. Can everyone hear NJ? Can I have a conversation with NJ?
Oh, you know what? I got it. Hold on, Dean. I have you. Hold on. I got you.
What did I just say? Like
I'm gonna
2
remove you
minutes?
for a second, Dean.
Oh no! Oh, now I'm huge.
Isn't this fun?
The tech of the 50-foot Dago.
Don't you enjoy just being all being here with me? All right. Hold on for a second. And here we go. There's May. There's you. And there's you.
I got a big red thing that says you're on stage.
And now I will make us all nice and big. All right.
If you get out a couple inches, I'd appreciate it.
How's that? Yeah. So we look better now. All right.
Good
We're
enough.
huh?
Good enough. Nobody
Oh,
really wants
I
to
thought
look at us.
I thought you said no, and I was like, what the fuck? So
I mean, maybe Ranger. The fellas might be getting wet over NJ, but neither of us do.
So we got a shit ton of chats already, so it's going to be hard to keep up with those, but we'll do our very best. And our boys are here. We got Cigarette Jones, we got Dr. Chow. I think Deft is here. Sam Bibley is here. Sam feels like he's been getting short shrift in my chat lately.
Sam always feels that way.
Does he?
Sam wants every chat read all the time. That's what Sam Bibley does.
Oh, who's the one that keeps bothering Melton about the mouse? Is that
That's
Citizen M?
Citizen M, yeah.
So, yeah, Citizen M was like, wasn't he like a big Steel Toe guy? And then Steel Toe was saying he was mentally ill.
No, well, Citizen M is a troll, obviously. I think when Citizen M drops a video, I always click on it because he is meticulous and he puts together great videos. But yeah, there's certainly some autism there with Citizen M.
And also Aaron saying that somebody has mental illness means nothing because that's like his go. The SpongeBob meme of he's opened up a box labeled "all reliable."
Right.
That's mental illness.
Yeah, exactly.
I must say that I do enjoy the guys with the mental illness judging everyone else the most. That's kind of my favorite. But it's unbelievable. I was watching you guys. No, I was watching Pretty Antisocial earlier, and I hadn't gotten my Steel Toe fill this week. And it's funny because it's like Jackie and Haley seem at the point where they're like, I don't know what to say anymore. Like, just how does he act this way? And
it's amazing because I'm so much more fascinated with Kiki and Gino at the moment. So I've sort of more gone that direction, but I still will talk about Aaron. But it is that thing of like, I mean, this is so ridiculous at this point. He can't believe all the nonsense that he's spewing out of his mouth. But I did put together a clip this week, and I'm glad Mersh got out of it what he needed to get out of it. It was great to see Mersh breaking down the clip of Aaron telling everyone to get oddly personal is weird, followed by him getting oddly personal with Mersh.
right.
Like he's a cartoon character.
Yeah, you can't make it up.
Do we think he's looking for a new is he looking for a new target and he's just like testing He wants to see who the soft target is with
I
because
think
he's
he. Sorry,
no, go
I
ahead.
think he sees like there's been a rapid decline since the court date, and he said, "I'm not talking about this stuff anymore." He's seen the rapid decline, so he knows he needs to find something somewhere else to get people talking again. But he can't. It can't be anything that'll get him in legal trouble. So, yeah, I think he is. He's looking around and being like, "All right, who could I have a stoush with? Is someone that I could get some drama going with?"
Yeah, he's not unlike your boy Karmic in that regard, I would say.
Yeah, well, I seem to be Karmic's favorite target. So what can I say? I
Oh
even
yeah, am I a creep? Am I a creep now because I'm doing a stream with you? Fuck.
Yes.
yeah, I love how me making a comment about a 17-year-old Eileen Warnos
Oh,
and it's like, and she's 27, the actress is 27, but somehow that got me down to liking 9-year-olds. So, but
Yeah. It's the weird thing about the current state of things. Everyone's so quick to call people pedophiles. It's like, what are we doing? Like, really, what are we doing?
well, I mean, look, I've reached the point where I wouldn't expect any less. You know, I just I don't understand it. Uh, I don't understand what people get out of it, but it's very strange. I know Karmic needs an enemy. He only seems to pull that one out though when he's frustrated. He usually does other stuff, but I will give Brennan credit because Brennan shut him down when he tried to do it on his show. So
Yeah, Brennan doesn't seem to want to go there. He's never gone there with Melton, even though everyone calls Melton a PDF and all that. Brennan doesn't seem to want to go there. I think he's smarter than that.
he's very happy to do it with Shuley, but
well, I
Yeah, but they
mean,
actually had a PDF working for him.
no,
Like,
there
no,
is
no,
there is,
yeah,
that
yeah.
little, that little,
yeah,
Sorry, sorry from that little fact. Yes.
yeah,
yeah. What I did like is Chad getting butthurt that Rob Saul called him an alleged rapist. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, bro, you straight up called Melton a ped infinite amount of times. No alleged, no YouTube's terms of service, no qualification, whatever. Rob Saul would be fine in court because this motherfucker had the presence of mind to say alleged. And now Chad is gonna be, oh, harumph, I'm scandalized, ready the fainting couch. Oh my god, could you imagine somebody
yeah.
talking out the side of their face saying whatever about some? Wow.
Chad is so tiring. It's somebody said it. I think it was on Eccles. You know what? I'm so confused about what I listened to today. Um, they were actually talking about Joey, but I noticed it's the same thing about Chad. They never watch other shows. They never see any other shows, but yet they can repeat the, their words. Like when a word gets introduced on a show, you can bet that Chad and Joey will both have it the next day. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, Chad's wild. I've been listening to Eckle all day, actually. And I was listening to Between Two Hacks, and I was halfway through chewing the shit that NJ was on. But yeah, there's a Chad clip that talking about Melton filing the police report and all that. And it is very funny to listen to Chad go, like, I can't do business with this guy. Like, he's just a bitch. Like, he's just and I'm like, I'm on Super Tip. I had one exchange with Melton about it, setting up the account. And then since then, I've messaged Moody a couple of times about it, and that's it. You're not like you're using their thing. You're not in business with Melton. You're using their service. That's what's going on. You know, it's like, are you in business with Walmart when you go buy a few things? You know,
I sent Patrick an email about a problem I was having, and I got a very curt answer from him. And then and then on the show he was like, "I think Schmuel's mad at me. I just don't know Windows." And I really have said, I go, it's not. It was the way you replied, not not what you replied, because it was basically like, read the manual, and I was like, I if I hadn't read the manual, I wouldn't have sent you an email. Yeah.
Patrick's like, I've been going back to some retro NBA and listening to old Jordan and Larry Bird stories and stuff, and Byron Scott talking about defending Michael Jordan, and he says,
Uh-huh.
he goes, you do what you can, you defend him, and then when he puts up a shot and sinks it, he goes, you go, good shot, Mike. Like you kill him with kindness because you don't want to piss him off, because if you piss him off, he'll go off for 60. And I feel that way with Patrick. Is you do have to you have to be careful about the way you approach him, and because when I signed up to Super Tip, he sent me a screenshot of the first page of the manual, and I clicked on it. I was like, what the fuck is this? And so I wrote him back and I said, I don't know if you're fucking with me. I assume it's just because I'm retarded, but this seems like a screenshot. And then he sort of wrote back and apologized. He was like, I don't know how that happened, and sent me the thing. But yeah, that's the thing with Patrick. If you catch him at the wrong time or whatever, you'll get a very fucking shitty response.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm aware of it, and it's like, it's him. I didn't really care. Like, Patrick's gonna Patrick.
Well, that was the other thing with Chad, is that okay, Moody is the point of Moody is the dude for this, and to whatever Chad's credit, I don't know if you call this credit, whatever the fuck, Chad has delineated that Moody was nothing but straight up and nice, helpful to him. So okay, if that's true, which I believe that to be true, okay, so what the fuck is your problem, bro? Just don't deal. If you have somebody who, one, you can end run around the guy you don't like, and two, is specifically the dude that's actually in the code, what the fuck is the issue? You're making an issue where there is none, and it's almost as if he directly said, I'm trying to get kicked off of Super Tips, to which Patrick replied, I'm not going to kick him off of Super Tips.
Right.
Why
I'm gonna make you stay here.
Yeah. Moody's been fucking great to me. Moody took time out. He got on a fucking StreamYard with me and talked me through setting up Super Tips on my OBS and everything, and got it working for me. Moody's been great to me.
I had Annie try to help me, and we got it sort of going, but it was kind of a hybrid where I had I would sign into StreamYard on Chrome, but then my camera would come in on Edge, and anything that gets that complicated for me is not great. But we still couldn't get the sound to work. So maybe I will talk to you one of these days, Dean, because I have a 1 month with Evmux, but I'm going until October with StreamYard. But you know who loves Evmux is Hackride.
He's been using it for ages, I think. Yeah.
He's like one of their people, I talked to the CEO. He was really helpful. And when I was having trouble tonight, I probably should have reread his text, but why would I do that?
Yes, Datois, it is how the sausage is made.
Yes.
It's how the white is made as well.
Yeah.
Well, we wanted to save we're letting people fill up in the room. Isn't that what Chad does, right? Yeah, we're letting people get into the room, and then we'll hit them with.
I thought that's what the 25-minute intro was for.
No, I was doing. I said 11:30, so I just wanted to test it and see if it worked with the timer.
Stop testing things. Stop testing things. Just do it. All right.
I can't. Yeah, but then if I do it, then Echo yells at me, and I can't take that. That's
no, God forbid.
all he does is yell at me. I'm like an abused old man. What do you call it? Elder abuse. So I actually do want to answer one of the questions in the chat, and I think it was Daytwa that sent it, and or it might have been, I don't know. I think it was Daytwa that sent it, and she said she liked my pajamas. But this is actually a pink polo, but I couldn't. People showed up. We had to go to dinner, and I was fixing a door, and the wife threw me a shirt, and I put it on, and it's a triple XL, and I'm like barely a large, so it does look like, I was a much bigger guy at one point. So, but I do laugh because I was thinking I do like the shirt, but it does look like PJs, so I could see the confusion. But then again, it would be appropriate. Go ahead.
In Australian sizes, often I do need a triple XL because a double X is a fraction tight. But in American sizes, if I order a triple XL from America, it's a fucking tent. It's fucking crazy.
I was laughing. I was at one of these things, maybe DabbleCon too, and some guy was complaining because he wanted a 5X shirt, and they couldn't get him a 5X shirt.
Jesus.
And he was, and he was like really like kind of upset about it. And I just all I kept thinking in my head is, if I wore a 5X, I'd never tell anybody. It'd be like my secret, you know? Uh,
Who
yeah.
was it? Fuck, there was. Oh, it was fucking Paddy Seacups. Paddy Seacups. Patrick Michael. One of his stand-up jokes, which I think Kill Tony gave him credit for, was the fat people should have to have the size label on the outside of their clothes so everyone can see it and shame them. I think that's a funny premise for a bit.
That is really funny. The thing about let's at Daytwa, you're 100% correct. Schmuel saw the pants. Just saying, yeah, I'm wearing a pair of flannel lounge pants. I came out in the backyard and it's freaking cold out here, and I was in a
Flannel
pair of
lounge pants, the pajama pants, Schmuel.
pajama pants. All right, look who's joining us. It's an OG mumbling Nick.
Yeah, I heard people bitching about Eckel yelling, so I figured I'd jump in.
Schmuel, did you just round up all of Eccles' co-hosts tonight?
Hey, these were mine before they were Eccles. You were on my show, I think, before you were on Eccles. But and I honestly I didn't know that NJ Ranger was on Eccles' show. I did because I don't really remember when you started that, but I just NJ kept seeing NJ on other shows, and I was like, I like this guy. This guy's like smart. You
You
know,
saw him on my show, damn it. That's where
and
you
he
stole him
speaks
from.
well. Nah, I think it was long after that. I always watch your show. I can't do the 9:30 Sunday mornings.
Thanks.
I've decided, so I tend to watch it after it airs as I'm doing chores, and then it's you and Blind Mike. It's my Sunday morning, and it gets me through tons of stuff.
I'm glad.
So Nick, this is what we were saving this for you. So I saw today you and Eckel doing the karmic.
Yeah.
You did a karmic clip, and
Yes,
that
we
was
did.
I think it was Doom's karmic clip, correct?
Yeah, I think it was Doom. It won clip of the week because Eckel's a big karmic fanboy.
Is he really?
Oh, big time. I gave it a shitty score, but it didn't fucking matter. Still won.
Yeah, you might even classify him as a ball washer, dare I say.
It's the first
Wow.
time it's the first time Eckel ever got a little pissy at me for my score. He usually doesn't care, but yeah, he was not happy.
Echo was getting pissy at you a lot today, actually.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Yes,
He's a little cunty today, I would say, but yeah.
he was in a mood. I do love how he keeps telling Rochi to shut up.
The worst part about Echo, because I had a little bit of a fucking fit at him last week on What's Your Handle, is you'll be talking and he'll just bring up a chat or respond to the chat. It's like, oi, motherfucker, I was talking. What are you doing? And he does that to Rochi constantly. It's like, well, are you listening? Do you care?
He did with me one time. I said something. He put something in my in the YouTube comments about, and then like later, and he put it in Twitter, and later on in the day, he got mad at me because it was like, "Oh, you're so rude when I'm offering you help," and I'm like, "But you put it in 3 different places." Like,
I only really got we do the ball bust. I only really got a little pissy once. There was forget what clip we were watching, but somebody brought up Peter McNeely, and Peter McNeely is from Medfield, Massachusetts. He's the one who fought. It was Tyson's first fight when Tyson first got out of jail. And I met Peter McNeely once, so I had a Peter McNeely story, but I knew Eckel wanted to get through the video. So I waited till the video was over. And then and he's like, "What's your score, mate?" And I'm like, oh yeah, just real quick on the Peter Mc. He's like, no, this is when we do the score. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, asshole. I waited to tell the story until now, but fuck it. Here, 111 or whatever the fuck you want. Yeah, like I usually don't care, but I thought I was being polite by waiting till
No,
the video was over to tell the
I
story. But
I
yeah.
sensed your frustration in that moment. And I was almost like, yeah, I want to hear his story. What's his story? This sounds interesting.
It's a running
I
thing on
know.
on the show. I was one time, sorry, Schmuel. I was called Jekyll.
No, go
Sorry
ahead.
about
Go
it.
ahead,
Yeah.
OJ.
There was one time where I forget. I don't have very interesting stories, but it was like I got hit by a car when I was 14 and I was hospitalized for 5 days. I was shot point blank in the foot with a BB gun. It went like 4 inches in me. It's still like in I would just like say the opening, like, oh, I got shot with a BB gun. He's like, interesting. And then he goes on to something. And then the hit by the car thing. And I think it was written asylums like, it's like, dude, every time Nick's like, oh, I got hit by a car or I got shot, you're like, oh, that's cool. And then you move on before you can tell the story. So it's become like almost like a bit. Like I'll set up a story and then that's it. We just move on. So it was kind of like that again.
Chris Mack is asking, didn't Tyson beat McNeely so bad that McNeely's coach threw in the
I'm
towel?
trying to remember. I think
I think he
all I
did.
remember about the fight, it finished in the first round. I remember
Yeah.
McNeely ran right at him as soon as the bell rang and just
Yeah.
went at him. That's what I remember. And yeah, I think you're right. I think he did throw in the towel.
Yeah, I remember that fight because I remember Tyson getting out of jail. It was hyped, and
Yeah.
afterwards, everyone was like, "Why the fuck did they put him in with this guy?"
I know, this
Like,
fucking
yeah.
bum.
Yeah,
As a kid, I really liked boxing, and then it got ridiculous after a while because there's so many boxing associations and whatever. You could never get a prize. You could never get a real prize fight. It was just so corrupt. But I can't, and I know this is like makes me less of a man. So as I walk through the valley of men, I will say I'm not really a fan of like the MMA stuff. You
I'm
know?
not either. Yeah,
no,
to be
same.
honest with you.
But
There's more excitement in a good boxing fight. For
Yeah.
me personally, there's more excitement in a good boxing fight than there is in MMA. But don't get me wrong, there's been some fucking sick MMA fights. But yeah, the sweet science I've always been more interested in.
yeah, maybe I don't know enough about MMA to know like other than he's beating the shit out of this guy. Like I don't know the holds and all that stuff. So, but boxing I knew because I had one of them old uncles who was a big time sports guy. This guy drove a New York Times truck every night from Manhattan, the Times building in Manhattan, to Stamford, Connecticut every night, and he was hammered. Like they would start drinking at like 3 in the afternoon. The paper would be 1, 2 in the morning, and driving back and forth. And he loved the track, and he loved boxing, and wrangled beer. And that's where he's the one that taught me all about boxing because my dad wasn't one of those guys. So it was pretty cool.
Did he like Aqueduct?
He loved Aqueduct, and that was Belmont was always a nice place, but he was more of the guy. He preferred Aqueduct. It was down and dirty. It was easy to get to.
Yep.
The lawn, I think they used to call it. But it was it was amazing. And as a kid, I used to take the train because I was in Rockaway, and I would go to Manhattan every day to go to school and then come home. And if you left early, you'd be leaving when Aqueduct, which is a racetrack, the horse racing track, which at one time, got 15,000 people a day in there watching the races. And there used to be this guy, really creepy guy with like Igor from the uh, Bride of Frankenstein, not those movies, and he would do racing form, and that's what he would sell. But he'd just walk through the train selling the racing form every day. And by the time I got out of high school, Aqueduct was like a shell of its former self. And nobody would, because they had all, that's when, I don't know if it's at the time they started off track betting, but it became very popular, the OTB, and nobody went to the track once that happened.
Who was
Old
that
man
guy?
story.
Sorry, just back to boxing. Nick, you'd probably know the guy that Pacquiao had the trilogy with. His name escapes me at the moment.
Pacquiao. Shit. The best trilogy, if I can remember Pacquiao's. I was actually, my favorite was Turo Gotti and Mickey Ward. I remember that trilogy was fucking awesome. I can't remember fucking Pacquiao shit.
Yeah, I forget the guy. Hispanic, Marquez. Yeah, I think it was Marquez. In their third fight, I bought that on pay-per-view. I thought Pacquiao was dead. Like, I thought he had killed him. Like, Pacquiao just walked into just a heavy punch at the end of the round. Like, he was attacking at the end of the round, and he just ate one and laid flat on his face for 30 seconds, 45 seconds. Like, he's dead. Like, that has just fucking killed him. Obviously, he got up and he's fine now, but that was one of the fucking most heavy knockouts I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was such a big deal back then. When you had like Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier fighting, it was like Madison Square Garden. I don't remember where the fight was, but like one of the fights, maybe the Thrilla Manila or whatever, you would go to movie theaters and watch it on closed circuit TV. There was no pay-per-view, any of that, and it was crazy how many people went. We've managed to go from like about 25 viewers to 14, so we're really getting them. Oh,
I love
6
the
people,
boxing talk.
huh? I feel like somebody Brennan probably went live or something, but which is what usually happens, or they snipe the show, so there's people don't have to be here. He can call me an idiot from afar. So let's shift focus here a little bit. Let's get back to I want to take a look at our boy Karmic and the Doom stream, and I'll put it on like 1.25.
This will be my first time commenting on comic. I've stayed away from it.
So have I. Let's see if
Yeah,
it
you've
works.
stayed away from it. Yeah, definitely. You've not been.
Totally. I'm not involved at all. I'm so annoyed because I can't get in. He won't let me in. So I hit screen share.
Let me in.
And I guess I have to put it up. There we go. Add to scene. Ah, this is interesting.
Now we get to sit and watch Schmuel figure this part out.
Mini part. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have even tried. I'm gonna give up. The reason why everybody is a lot of people are very proud of themselves if they don't do clips. And I will say, yeah, I don't do clips either, but it's more because of my ineptitude than any other reason.
And you're still gonna have to wait to comment on Karmic X there, Aussie guy. I don't think it's happening tonight. Yeah.
No, we'll get into him. Have you watched him at all, Aussie guy?
I watched the odd clips. I was watching him crying again today. I think Doom put up a clip, and I'm gonna say, look, if I'm in that kind of a mental state, I probably wouldn't go on a live stream at all. But even just getting on a live stream and starting to talk to people, like, I would fucking snap out of it. I just couldn't see myself reaching a point of getting into tears on a live stream. But you know, we've seen it with him. We've seen it with Johnny Crutches. And I guess the fact that he's solo, there's no one else to bounce off of and maybe cheer you up a little bit. That's probably the worst part about it for him is once he starts to tear up, it's game over. They're going to start rolling. There's no one to help you stop it, you know?
The Johnny Crutches really is the comparable that I've found here. I mean, like, obviously the Minnesota thing is fine. But the crying on and look, I got to give it to Johnny in this case, in that Johnny generally is a pathetic sack of shit.
Jesus.
You got to give it to him for that.
Well, it's like one of those what you see is what you get. Like, I'm a statistics guy. The delta between the Johnny, his headcanon of who he is, and the Johnny that's on stream is very low. Whereas, as I was saying on the Pineapple stream earlier, like, I'm not even one of those, super macho guy, never cry, like, what if you're a man. I'm not, no, I'm far from that. But if you're going to cry, don't have it be right after lecturing all of us, all these coastal men, these dickless pussies, and then you're just going to break out. Like, that is a pretty big delta between what is stated and what is.
Fair.
Yeah, the only other person I've seen do that contrast is I've seen Jake Hudson of all people be like, "This is my stream. If you don't like it, get the fuck out. Show your ass to the door." And then like 5 minutes later, he's like crying and blocking somebody in the chat, but at least Jake has an excuse. I don't know what Karmic's excuse is to act all macho and then end up in tears later.
Thank you, Chris Mack.
Thank you, Chris Mack. Delta means change for your rubes. I'm beginning to think that there's significantly more performance in the tiers than reality. People disagree with me, but I'm like, I think this guy knows what sells and what makes money. But I don't know how other people feel about that. Like, I think he's got real problems, but I also think at the same time, it's like, you know what? Hopping on this train isn't a horrible idea.
Well, I mean, what I was going to say to that and to Aussie's point, when he was like, okay, I personally would never go on a stream to, first of all, thank you, Daytol. I'm very self-conscious about that. So that means the world to me. Yeah, to Aussie's point about like, if I was in that state, I wouldn't go on the stream to cry. Yeah, there is the thing that, well, I mean, I guess that this isn't true of Super Tip. You can collect Super Tips when you're offline, but you can't really draw in Super Tips unless your ass is online. So I think that there is that. And to your point, Schmuel, I'd say it's like a 50-50. I don't necessarily think that there's big performance in the crying, but there's performance all over that. I tend to think that the crying is some of, as you alluded to, some of the real problems revealing themselves. But I think that let me use a New York Times word, I think that the bluster, if you will, or as we say at my village, we call that bullshitting, right?
Right.
The bullshitting is an act, clearly, but the tender moments, I think that's closer to who this dude really is.
Boys, sorry, boys. I got to dip out.
All right, bud. Thanks for stopping. Dean, great. We'll see you. Sorry to dox you.
See you tomorrow, bro.
Can't help calling that. Aussie, take care. We'll see you.
Everyone knows it's Dean Galloway from Australia.
I didn't say your last name.
Yeah, Husey does all the time. It's his favorite thing. It's fine. No, all good. Thanks for having me on, Schmuel. I'll talk to you guys.
Take care. Good night.
Mate.
Let me pull him off the stage. Which could, this is me. Remove from scene. There we go. I'll get it. I'm hoping that I don't get either struck with death or Alzheimer's before I learn how to do this.
I think you can do it.
Both of them are pretty close. Those are really good. That's really good. Those are really good points, Nick. Not Nick. NJ. Sorry. So I think there's a lot. Yeah, I think there's a lot of acting. I think there's a lot of performance, and maybe you're right. Like maybe those are the real moments. It's hard for me to imagine going on stream and pining over a girl, like at 41. I'm wondering, does maybe the guy has no friends, like no male friends, and he doesn't anybody like to smack him around a little bit.
Like the classic, you can act like a man.
Yeah, exactly. Or at least just think about what you're doing. I've had a lot of issues. I shouldn't say a lot of issues, but Stealth and I don't really get along very well, and I don't know if the word is impressed, but the fact that Karmic let him talk to him the other night, he really did talk him off the ledge. And it was amazing. So Nick, how much do you think it's like performance versus reality? Or
I think it's almost all performance. I think the real him is when he's on like KB's show and he's just kind of Kevin, I can't imagine you screaming like that, like into the abyss, into the microphone at fucking strangers. If I did that in my house, my fucking wife and kids would fucking institute me or some shit. Like he's just screaming at strangers, getting upset, like you said, about women he doesn't even know. I'm in my 40s and I sound like the old guy because I met my wife the old-fashioned way before the online thing became like how you met, and there's nothing wrong with it. I do think it kind of sterilizes the whole process a little, but yeah, it's like I don't know if he's because he's in Minnesota and it's fucking freeze. Well, not freezing now, but freezing 9 months out of the year. So he's probably in that fucking house all the time. Doesn't get out. Doesn't meet people, and this is like his world. But I think I agree with NJ. I think he knows what he's doing when the screaming brings in the views, brings in the clips, brings in the fucking money. The tears, figure, fuck it, I'll go the opposite way, see what that does. So that might be where I'm a little different than NJ. I think the tears are performative too, which was different than what the pineapple thinks. But I think it's almost all performative. And when we see him on like another show, I think that's like the real him as a guest.
We get I know this is going to sound insane, but Chow's from Minnesota, right? And I mean he's a troll but he's basically normal, right? Like he doesn't and so it can't just be the Minnesota thing. Although Minnesota is like what uh that would make it like 1 for 4 normal versus not. But yeah, I don't know what the deal is, man. And I don't know I have no idea what I did to generate the level of hate that I get from him.
Okay, well, first of all, I think that I think that we discount like Minnesota's a big ass state. Again,
All
I'm
right,
from
hang on just 1 second.
go right ahead.
Detroit, I know you live in Minnesota,
Wow,
and I
everyone.
wanted to say something, but then I thought about it and I said, I really don't want to put Chow and Detroit in the same sentence because then you would get mad at me. But yes, Detroit lives in Minnesota and she's a doll. Go ahead,
Yeah,
NJ.
no, I was about Minnesota. It's like, okay, I come from a state the size of fucking postage stamp,
Mhm.
relatively.
Me
Um,
too.
you know what I mean? Minnesota, though, that's a especially tall state, and uh, I have said this a bunch of times. I think I said it when I was on with Flimsy. That was something that stuck out to me was him referring to Steel Toe and Nick Ricotta as city boys, as city slickers. That I think put shit in perspective. Like this motherfucker is like 4 or 5 hours away from. He's 4 hours away from St. Cloud. St. Cloud is a city that is. If you take two of my town population wise, there's St. Cloud. If you are conceptualizing of Nick Ricotta as a city slicker, that kind of gives up the game a little bit.
It's interesting when so 17, I go in the Air Force and then you travel and you go to other cities. And I grew up in New York, and Nick, you're up by Boston. I
Yeah.
mean, those are like cities, right? And then you go to other places and they're cities and they're talking about them. And it's like with 100,000 people. And it's like, as a kid, it's like, oh, it seems like a lot. And then you get there and you're like, wait, there's like one building. Uh, you know? So yeah, I thought he was talking about I didn't realize he was comparing them to like Nick and Aaron. I thought he was comparing it to like us city boys.
Nope,
Like
nope. That was exactly why it flashed a light, and because of course he's had his screeds about like the East Coast and the West Coast, big cities, etc., whatever ad absurdum. But like once you start, when a dude from St. Cloud is from the city, that really put it in perspective for me. And it goes to the whole isolation thing. Like, if it takes you like half an hour to an hour to go get pizza from Domino's, like, It's rough. I feel for the dude.
Right. And it takes us like an hour to go 6 miles, you know?
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
But the pizza place is around the corner. Everything becomes very, very hyper local. Um, I don't, I've been, I do watch them, not as much as not as much as other people, but I'm like, my concern with my sort of concern trolley is when he stopped taking his medication and he's drinking, and then I'm like, I don't know that does he realize that like half or more of his chat is trolling him, you know? And I I, I kind of wait like he's all alone, and I fully expect that people they want to see him head off to the big YouTube stream in the sky, online, on air, and say they can be there. Uh, so but I don't know. I don't know if he's aware of it or not. I, I don't think he is, but the online thing with Taz and now Felicia. I mean, seriously, like, dude, come
Oh,
on.
the Felicia thing again. I don't know. Maybe I'm a different breed. But if a woman is like volunteering, now granted, she said that like she's busy the next couple of months and they can talk on the phone. He didn't take her up on that offer, fine. But if in the round, if you will, a woman offers like I would be down to fly out to you, especially if I lived in Bumblefuck. But even that I live in fucking North Jersey, what a
Right.
half an hour, 40 minutes from Newark Airport. I would again, unless she is homely, and especially if I am like in a drought, I tend to agree with it, but I'm saying his reaction does not seem either that he's aware of being punked. Like he thinks it's legit. So if it's legit, wouldn't you jump on that shit? Like at least I would.
I, yeah, I think well, knowing what I know about Felicia, no, I wouldn't. Um, because I figure 10 minutes after it ends, it's going to be all over the internet, and I wouldn't necessarily trust that she would say positive things about me, but I
Yeah,
would. Like,
I was
normally, I would.
I was just thinking, before my wife, I dated this woman, and I ended up dating her. It would have been a one night stand, but I was so drunk. Let's just say it didn't fully work. So I took her number because I'm like, I don't want this to be the so one night she spent with me. I don't want her to think this is what I'm like. So it turned into like a relationship. But I was like, imagine if Karmic, he's all shit faced and he gets whiskey dick, and then Felicia's she's on the fucking boom MLC. Yeah, he couldn't get it up. You know what I mean? Nothing's gonna be fucking private in this whole thing. So I don't know if I'd fucking risk it unless you're very confident that yeah, I might take the blue pill on that one just to make sure if that's what he's gonna do. So he's
Yeah.
all right.
Got to show up and show out.
Yeah. Yeah, I told you I ended up with a literally multi-month relationship because I didn't want this failed one night stand to be like what this woman thought of me.
Hey, man, I'm absolutely with you, and there's nothing worse than like either not being able to get it done or doing it way too quickly. Um,
Yeah,
and
that's
then
the other.
walking
Yeah,
in with your friends knowing that they all know that you were with the girl the night before and she kind of doesn't sort of want to look at you. Um, opinion. Tonight, KB brought up how porn is making men desensitized, maybe karmic, killed his libido with his porn stuff, thus not having having the drive to chase Felicia. Uh yeah, I would I don't disagree with Kevin on the overall part, but on the Felicia thing, he he really seems like a guy who's like looking for love. Like he's coming to that first date with the engagement ring in his back pocket just in case he can use it. And I don't know if it was they were on last night maybe or the night before with Felicia, or it might have been a clip. Um, she was toying with him, just playing, she was just playing with him, and he really did appear to be falling for it.
Good. He should do it. Like, that's my take on this. Like, you gotta get back up on the horse, bro. Like,
Yeah, can't you get a horse that's a little closer?
you would think, but
I mean, Aaron has slam piece. How hard could it be to find
yeah, but
somebody out
he's a
there?
radio master, though. You
Dude,
don't
he's a
No.
fuck boy.
discount that. Yeah, he really is, though.
But yeah, I don't know. I do know that you're not gonna find love sitting in your home that's broken you over 20 years with your $1,200 pool. Which but sorry, man, it so flusters me. Because I watched. It's hard for me to look at some of these guys and go like, where are they going to be in 20 years? But I bet there's a whole bunch of like, old men my age that like sit at home at night watching TV, or they watch Fox News and then they get up in the morning and then they yell about how bad the world is, and then they go back and drink themselves to sleep.
Yeah, I just don't think Karmic, and it's probably obvious, but I don't think he gets out. Like I was thinking, Rob Saul was him and Karmic were fighting the other night, and whatever anyone thinks of Rob, I mean, Rob works at a bar. Rob probably meets people, meets women, at least is out there. Where I just picture Karmic just sitting in that chair, drinking with that fucking microphone, doing whatever he's doing with his beats and his music, and I don't think he gets out much. Maybe the grocery store, maybe I don't know.
Yeah, look, on some level, I relate to that. I'm a homebody. It's not like I'm whatever out with my fucking social card full, but like at the same time, I live close to and I do get out quite once in a while. You hear that, Jim Stansel? You fucking midget nothing. I get out of my house once in a while. You bitch. Sorry, that was I was possessed a little bit. So yeah, no, when you're in again, it's the isolation theme. When you're out in middle of nowheresville, like again, you Nick, if you were single, you would be able to go someplace that would not take an hour plus to get to try to find companionship.
Yeah.
There's got to be something local. I think it wasn't Chris Mack. It might have been Big W, but somebody put up a thing like, "Go to the church house, man. There's a there's a bunch of women there."
Oh, go the Elks.
Right, and it's got to be Elks in Minnesota. Probably a Masons Club, right?
He probably hates that actually.
Yeah, and by the way, the $1,200 figure with the pool is Karmic's words, not mine. That's he was describing it, and I was like, I couldn't imagine, because he was going on about the filter and the vacuuming and the buckets, and I'm like going, oh my God, just for $1,200, just get another one.
No, Chow. That's exactly what I presume that it is, and that I figure that completely from what he's described.
But so Dr. Chow, I don't realize how isolated his area is, but he had a job at a company, right? So there's got to be people around. And I mean, I don't know about you guys, but most of the things that I found in my life that worked are things that I put effort into.
That's true.
And so, but yeah, I just think Felicia's toying with him. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. But it gives him time to fuck around. Like, he wastes a lot of time with this, right? As he ages. His job was over 50 miles from his place. Chow, stop making excuses for him. I'm trying to shit on him here.
I'm gonna sound ignorant here, but where does Felicia live? I know she travels all over the place, but I actually don't know where she lives.
She has from an undisclosed location.
All right. I've actually seen her show the place. I think when she recently, in the past months or whatever, got a new place. But yeah, I don't know where it is. I guess none of us do. Fair enough.
Yeah, and I actually do, but I don't know why, but I'm not going to dox her, even though
That's good.
she's
Schmuel.
done things to other people. But yeah, she lives pretty far away. Um, she lives way far away from him, so the odds of it working seem like it would be very slim. But at the very least, you'd have some companionship, like touching female skin for a change might might be nice. But what a weird guy. All right, let's see here. Let's see what Chow says. Detois, the closest area is Thief River Falls. He said it. Um, I did. He did. He did say that the company that he worked for, and somebody put up their location, and it really is like right by the Canadian border. So it's
Jeez.
it's got to be the middle of nowhere. But aren't there like don't people out there like hunt and fish? I mean, maybe he's not that kind of guy, you know?
Look at April,
Does he
right?
look like that kind of guy? Not to judge by a book by its cover or anything. Like I'm not that kind of guy either. Don't get me wrong. I fish, but I don't hunt at all. But even fishing, very casual. Not like one of those hardcore guys or whatever. But yeah, I'm surprised he was heterosexual. Not that I care or anything, but I was very shocked. So
Well,
yeah.
nobody's surprised that he's heterosexual more than him. So that's it's you guys remember the you're way too young, but do you guys remember Phil Donahue?
Yeah.
Of course I
Yep.
remember
Right.
Donahue.
So Phil Donahue, he was like the first sensitive guy, and guys were trying to be sensitive for a long time, and they realized that the more sensitive they were, the less female company they were attracting.
Yeah, no shit.
And yeah, but there's a level of neediness. And, like I couldn't imagine having to listen to the emotions that would go on like everything would probably offend. And please don't do this. Um, please don't do that. And could you imagine the level of love bombing that would go on with somebody like that?
No, I know that Nick will probably understand this. Something that it relates to the kind of dichotomy of I'm going to teach all you guys how to be a man, and then 5 seconds later go into crying. Is there's a big persecution fetish vibe that I'm getting from our boy.
Yeah.
In which there's like straw manning, shadow boxing. Like I've seen him unironically be like, "I'm gonna go take a piss." I hope that's okay with you woke liberals watching from the coast. It's like, bro, what? Like, why do you think that I'm anti? You take it like these are perceived slights that aren't even there.
No, definitely. The other thing too is I will say I came into this universe and almost universally in the universe, everybody's offered help. Like there's a few people that don't, but for the most part, people offer help. And it's like, what do you mean everybody's shitting on you? And what do you mean everybody's turned against you uh, in this universe? This guy's had more help than just about anybody. I mean, or offers of help, I should say.
Yeah.
And he's done he's doing well money wise in this
Yeah.
thing. So that's why I'm kind of skeptical about how much of this is real and how much of this is just made up.
Yeah, the fact that Joey C is seeming to gravitate towards him, you can tell he's doing well. Joey sees a little gold mine when he knows it. But,
Joey's the fattest remora on the face of the fucking earth.
I thought I never thought Joey was going to go away anyway, but I do think that his return was quickened by Karmic's arrival.
100%.
Like I can't lose to this guy. But yeah, we could switch to Joey for a second. He did a thing at like 2 o'clock in the morning yesterday where
I watched.
oh my God, I'm like, what the? I still don't know I still have no idea of what I was watching.
Wait, I want to read the title of that stream. Just give me 1 second. Catalano TV. Where is it? Live streams. Yeah. Who slurped it?
Yeah.
Week 1, Casey, Shuli, Levy, and Cupcake? Question mark, and then like a Schmuel face, like a live fan quiz.
And then he got pissed off because only like 3 people responded.
Yeah, because this moron couldn't get the fucking Google survey to work.
And no offense, I wouldn't click on a link that Joey sent me. I don't know what the fuck it's going to lead to.
Look, that's fair. I judged it like, okay, Joey doesn't have the how do we say? Joey doesn't have the sophistication to be able to pull off some shit like that.
He might surprise us yet, but Joey's much more of a low-level criminal. Yeah. It's the kind of no, that credit card was in the wallet when I gave it back to you. In the Walmart, I thought the funniest thing about the Walmart stream is he's on that scooter, and I've seen those things like wheel around with like 400-pound people on them, no problem. That scooter was gagging. It needed help, and I'm just like, how big is he? You know?
Did you hear when he gave out his waistline? I was shocked.
What did he say? 52, Nick?
52 at one point, yeah. And he's like
Jesus.
down to 40, whatever. Like, I used to be, I'm not like big or anything, but, when I was on drugs, I was like a 32, and then I got sober and I was like 30, 34. And I remember like when the 34s got tight, I'm like, I'm a fat fuck. And I can't imagine 52. And I remember when I'm like, geez, am I going to have to go up to 36? Like thinking I'm fucking huge. And this guy is fucking 52. I can't even picture it. Not trying to be a dick, but he doesn't even look like he's a 52. Like that seemed like big.
Joey's got that big ass gut.
Yeah, that could be it.
Although again, he says that he's going to go on Ozempic, and within 2 months is going to lose 100, maybe even 150 pounds.
In
Gonna be
2 months.
shredded. Yeah.
I think I told you guys this story, but back last year, at some point, either last fall up until maybe January, I tried to convince Joey to go on like Ozempic or one of those things, and even got Dr. Steve involved. I gotta say this: the scooter was losing Wi-Fi because of Joey's weight, and I talked to Joey about it, and Joey's like, and we did it on stream, so we're not like saying anything privately. And he's like, all the stuff, and then he's like, I know what my problem is, and I know what I've got to do. And I was like, oh, finally, And he says, I've got leaky gut. Dude, I read about this doctor, blah blah blah, and he really, and I was just like, he's not going to get it. That was like my thing is like, because Steve said because Joey was worried about side effects and all these other things. And so asked Steve, and Steve was like with Joey in a 3-way kind of conversation. And Steve was like, look, if you can lose 10% of your body weight, there's like, I don't remember, I think it was 10% equaled like a 10% reduction in all risks of dying, or your mortality was lowered by 10% or whatever it was. And it was a significant number. And Joey has some like serious heart shit. And that's why I was shocked today when he said he was taking Adderall.
Yeah.
Because I was like, there's not a doctor on the planet that's going to prescribe that for him.
Without getting too personal, I'm actually having my first heart scare type thing ever, and it's like I wouldn't touch anything like I was afraid to fucking take anything, and Joey's popping Adderall. Like if he's really doing it, I was trying to figure it out because it looks like he was, but I don't know. He was very open with having a corrupt doctor, which I thought was a little weird to fucking say on air. Like he'll give me anything, like fucking Dr. Feelgood over here.
Adderall, and Xanax. Like, okay, the Adderall is as of yet like
Speedball.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. Yeah. Like I have yet to see any of the. Because okay, I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on stream. I don't know whether Joey He could very plausibly be an ADD, ADHD guy. So maybe blah, 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 whatever. Preamble. I haven't seen any evidence of any sharpening or even say he did not have any of those prior conditions, and just the speediness and supposed like tunnel vision focus of somebody who is not attention anything and is taking this whatever. What I did see the other night when this motherfucker was passing out on stream, that is Xanax. This motherfucker is taking Xanax 1,000,000%. Whether he is taking this out, like I tend to believe that he is, I'm not seeing any of the receipts for that. Whereas the Xanax, I saw that shit. Like he was, ooh,
And I'm
No,
supposed to do a stream with this guy on sobriety. Like, what am I supposed to do? He's fucking. I don't think it's gonna
check
happen.
in on him. Check in on him, Nick.
Jesus Christ.
yeah, it's funny, Nick. I talked to him about some of that stuff, and I frankly don't. It's hard for me to reconcile what he says with the way he acts. Is probably the best way for me to put it when it comes to that. I know Joey's got heart issues, but Adderall and Xans aren't too serious. Actually, they are. The Adderall is for if he has what his. Do you remember when he was in the hospital and his wife was reading his medical report?
Yeah.
If he has what, if that was legit and she was reading what's actually wrong with his heart, the Adderall's not any kind of speed stuff is just not good for him. Or anybody's heart with that. It's this like sort of heart failure that goes on with your left ventricle not beating. But then again, he was going to lose weight. He's probably put on 100 pounds. So, what do I know? But I've seen the guys with, I used to like a little, like Ambien, Xanax, and Jameson cocktail, and that would be me. But I wouldn't. It's weird because you don't think you're behaving that way, or like I would do it. I would do and say shit that I did not remember at all, and then 2 days later, my wife would be like, "So why are we going to IKEA?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about? Why would we go to IKEA?" I apparently had like a 45-minute discussion with her about all the things we needed from IKEA. Didn't remember a bit of it. Then after she told me about it, then I remembered. I was like driving in the car going, "Oh no, I really did." And it was like that's kind of one of the things that made me realize that maybe it was time to stop doing these things. But I with that stuff, particularly with Ambien, I would wake up in the morning and my kitchen would be a complete mess, and I'd have no idea who did it, but it was me. You know, I was like Liam, a bag of Doritos, and oh wait, I've got cheese and I've got sour cream. I have nachos, and there'd be a trail of like nacho chips from the microwave to the living room to the couch. And, but yeah, so some of this stuff is fun. Let's put up Squid here. I like Squid. Squid for guys used to taking meth and other street
Yeah.
drugs, and Xanax.
True.
God, I can't speak. Xanax are pretty mild. Yes, oh yeah, compared to meth, of course, but he's not doing. He's not doing meth, but it's also like I do think that like Karmic, there's a certain amount of shock value with Joey. The talking about the Adderall and then, yeah, I used to really like to snort them. And, you guys can say what you will, but it's just more of he's got every story has to have like an extra layer of oomph on it. So it's like, and you can believe it in the beginning, like there's something there, but then it just gets ridiculous after a while. Props. I'm guessing he has heart failure is almost there. It's a tough life, and he needs to change his time, or he's going to have to wear diapers to stay alive. Um, I've seen what happens. The worst part about that is like eventually what happens is it becomes almost impossible to like lose weight because you can't because your body's not your heart's not pumping blood, so you have no energy, and you really can't move but you need to move because you need to drop the weight, because if the more weight you drop, the less the heart has to pump, and it's a really, really vicious cycle. But it is funny. Here we are talk talking about Joey, and I'm like, he's just a fucking troll. And I can't stand him. But I do find myself like going, and find myself talking about him. Same thing with Karmic, you know, A- and I wish I could stop. I don't know what it is that makes it so interesting to me.
I wish I could quit you.
Mhm.
Is what you would. I wish
Yeah.
I knew how to quit you. Excuse
I
me.
wish I knew how to quit you. Yeah. I wish I knew how to quit a bunch of this stuff, but I don't know. I don't know how to do it. And it it I don't know. It's all quite amazing. But I but in any event, where do we see Joey in the next couple of months? Is he coming back? And my other question on top of that is, was his show as popular as he says it was?
I don't think so. I don't think it's unpopular, but um, just to sum it up, I think one of the first conversations I ever had with Joey in a chat. This was like God, a year ago or whatever, but maybe over a year ago. Um, I think I had done one or two like streams, and I'm like Joey's like bragging about something online in the chat. I was like, and I'm obviously sarcastic. Oh yeah, Joey. Well, I was on Eccles 5 and 5, and I was on whatever fucking DJ Dabbles, whatever the fuck I was on, and he literally through like 6 chats listed his whole resume to me. Like, that's nothing. I was on Rocco show 6 times, Shuley show 12 times, like blah blah blah. I'm like dead serious. Like he thinks like this. I'm all over the place on Joey. I think deep down inside I like Joey, even though I know he's probably a scumbag, but I like him. But um I this is like real to him. This is meaningful to him. Like being a big shot in the Dabbleverse is way too important to him. It seems like it's more important to him than his own health. So it's not good. He needs to take a step back probably, but I don't think he can.
My conversation with him was that he wasn't. How do I put this? Um, the the audiences of all the stuff that he goes on and does, it's like it may get him attention, but it's such a small group. It's not going to change his life. Like it's not going to do for him what he thinks it's going to do for him. And the Adam Bush interview was sort of revealing
Oh my god.
because he really does think, like in his heart of hearts, he really thinks he's a thing, you know? And what really happens is, to most people, he's like, dance monkey dance. I'm going to give you, a $3 super chat and you're going to get pissed off at me. And with Stuttering John, I used to think that a lot of that stuff, when he wasn't really heavily drunk, I used to think with Stuttering, he knew what the game was. And like he knew, oh, I should just take this bullshit and make money off it. But I think Joey really does take this stuff to heart. I think when people say shit about him, he really thinks it means something.
There was a part in the Adam Bush thing, and of course I only remember it because it had to do with me. But in like the final hour, like Eckel and I were like chatting like crazy in there, and poor Adam's like, oh boy, he starts reading our chats before Joey gets them in. Anyway, at one point, Adam starts talking about me. I had reached out to Adam. I actually love Adam. I think he's fucking fascinating. So I was like, wanted to do like a stream with him, and he nicely, well, sort of let me down by over complimenting me, being like, Nick, I think you're great, but you're too much like me. You're self aware. You're this and that. So I don't know what I would do with you. Pretty much admitting that he goes on shows of people who are like crazy, not self aware. Like Joey's right there, so it's like Joey's getting like insulted without realizing it. But at the end, he's like, man, but Nick, yeah, if we can come up with something, maybe we can get a spark and we'll do it. But yeah, but I just think you're great. So, and Joey goes, thanks, man. Like Joey zoned out so much, he thought Adam was talking about him when he was talking about me. And like, Eckel and I just started laughing, but he literally, like I said, he got insulted. Adam was inadvertently like
Yeah,
insulting him.
backhandedly.
Yeah, backhanded. Thank you. That's the term I was looking for. And it went right over his head, and then he just zoned out and thought Adam was complimenting him. And was just like, "Thanks, man. I appreciate that."
That's my favorite Joey character of
Yes.
late is the thank you guy. We
Yeah.
saw that at the end of his sister's wedding stream. Thank you. Thank you.
I would be reticent, not reticent. I would be remorseful if I didn't put this up. Chow, are you trolling me? How he still can't get the camera and audio figured out blows my mind. I just go with it. Squid had a comment earlier, which I can't find now because it's I'm using the laptop and hold on, let's see if I can find it. But it's Squid usually comes up with stuff. Beloved Chatter says if he switched to Diet Coke, he'd lose a pound a day or more. Have you, NJ? You're a numbers guy, and so you know the old calories in, calories out. And there's the one thing they do with you when you're fat is they'll say something like, "You weigh 200 pounds, and it takes 12 calories per pound to maintain your current weight." And it guys like Joey's size, he's probably if he ate less than 3,000 calories a day, he would probably lose weight.
Yeah, the amount that you have to decrease when you're at that size is like you can still eat what we would perceive as a giant ass shitty meal and still come under the whatever the caloric level that it would take to maintain however big his ass is.
Well, not if you have leaky gut, because it's not. It's I I do laugh because it reminds me, in a way, it kind of reminds me of Gino, which is like, I can put all the evidence in front of you, facts, figures, the whole bit, and you're just going to stick with the one that makes your life the easiest.
No, I
Uh,
saw a tweet. I saw a tweet. That's more than it would take a million facts to overcome a tweet from super strong patriot 88.
it's
It's easy.
it's great. It blows me away. But I do laugh. I have to laugh. I laugh when I think about like the conversations that I had with Joey. I once spent like 3 hours talking to him about planning and doing all this stuff. And a few days later, so this was the conversation where he was going to get his health together, right? And the first thing he was doing, he was going on a diet, and he'd gone out and bought like all these fruits and vegetables and blah blah blah. And then like 2 days later, I hardly ever watch his stream, and I'm like watching it. I don't know why, I'm just watching it, and he is going from pizza place to pizza place, comparing the pizzas, and then the same night, like Dave's hot honey chicken, and so, and I'm like, oh my god, what did it was just frustrating because it was like
That's our Joey.
I got sucked into that. Oh, I really want to do something. I really want to help. Um, so you guys have you seen the Chad interview with Adam Bush?
Yes, I watched it
Yeah.
live.
And even when he had Tom Myers on,
Oh, yeah.
WATP,
That
I
was great.
I swear I I don't. People say like Adam is a super troll with these guys, and I don't really think he's trolling as much as if they answer the questions honestly that he asks them, it would all be fine. But like particularly Chad and Joey, they're just making stuff up to make themselves look good. And when you talk to Adam, even you'll get like, this one didn't work. Things won't have worked out. He doesn't have to build himself up to all to things. And it was just, I don't know. I just thought these guys dug their own holes.
No, I agree. I think that it's not although I would say it's kind of a semantic difference if the end result is troll again, what was the reason why he's not clamoring to have an interview with Nick? Oh, it's because the subject isn't going to be an ass clown that plays directly into my shtick. So he himself, he's not trolling, but the end result is to go out, shoot the bear of like lolcow content and bring it home to the WATP TP. So in the end, it's trolling, but I get what you're saying, Schmuel. That like it's just, but again, to Squid's point, this moron Chad, he is, it's clear that he, what he was doing from that interview, and Chad for weeks, damn near a month afterwards, oh, I wasn't being trolled, I wasn't being, and now only in the past couple of weeks, there's enough of this Adam Bush on podcast. Oh, why, Chad? You told us that it was a great interview and you're like best asshole buddies now. Why? What's up? You realize something?
Well, there's part of it has to be guys like Chad and Joey think that knowing and being friends with Adam is going to help propel their careers. You know, it's gonna fly me out to Hollywood. He's so a star. You know, um, and for a guy like Chad, it's got to be difficult. You're 50, right? Like we know what you're doing. Like we know what your life is like. We know what you're doing. You keep telling us it's different. Um, there's got to be a point where you realize that everybody realizes that you're full of shit, and it's got to hurt, man. I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah, I saw the Chad one. I don't remember it as much because but I remember enough. But I actually, with getting back to the last thing, I agree with NJ Ranger. With I don't know if trolling's the word, because he's literally telling them to their faces that, he's telling them straight out, like, do you really want to know the answer to that? Do you really think that's interesting? I bet we're boring the shit out of people right now. This, he's like, it's not like he's pretending to like them or being super complimentary, and then fucking holy fuck, sorry, I just had a spider crawl on me. Fucking super complimentary, and then shitting on them later in WATP. Sure, he'll nicely insult them on WATP, but he was also nicely insulting them right to their faces during the whole fucking stream, and they just didn't, either went right over their heads, or they're too, oh my god, Adam's from Hollywood, too blinded by that shit.
Yeah, they're too fame hungry, bro.
Yeah.
That to me, it's like, okay, when you know that the end goal is to take the clips back to Carl. Carl's gonna laugh talk all over it, blah blah blah. Like, okay, then you really have to think the classic meme of nah, not me, I'm built different. It's like, yeah,
Right.
no, sure you are, bro, sure.
Right. I'm I'm the one guy I'm gonna be different.
Exactly.
I'm gonna turn it around. I'm really a star, and he'll say it. Dr. Chow. I told Chad Adam Bush sucks, and he's nothing before the show, but Chad thinks because he was on TV once 30 years ago, he's something. Adam's had a decent career, and I mean, I've met and talked to Adam. I like Adam, but yeah, there is a certain amount of how fantastic he tells you are.
Oh yeah, you
And,
have a little of that in you too, Schmiel. That's why I don't fully trust you.
but I mean it. No, I think I don't know. I think that Adam might mean it. Um, and maybe I'm being naive. Like he may mean it in a certain sense or whatever, but what's the value? I took away from like his thing with you is like, what's the value with me with a guy like Nick, because I'm not going to get anything to bring back to WATP.
Right.
So that's really more of what it is. So it is. As a matter of semantics, I will agree with NJ Ranger that
Thank you so much.
it is trolling. Although I think I think with Joe, see, I think the way that they could have turned those interviews was by just being honest.
True.
You
You
know,
lean into it.
right? Instead of doing I go back. I have exactly the same relationship, Nick, with Adam that you do. I met him in Vegas. We talked. He's DM'd me a couple of times about some things that I've done, and I've asked him to come on the show, and he's like, "Well, what would it be about?" And what's it? And I feel like he doesn't. There's nothing there for him. There's
Right,
no
right.
there's no upside in doing the interview. Um, but he has, I think, a decent career. It may not be, the guy's not an A-lister, but to make it to Hollywood and to be able to still make money and still do the things that he does and whatnot, that's a success in that environment, in that environment and that job. And he probably makes, significant amounts of money. I'll call Kevin Brennan and have him ask him to check. Um, Bush has to be a troll, like NJ Ranger said. It's to bring content for WATP. I guess he uses his acting skills to come off as a sincere person. Maybe, yeah. When I was in Vegas, you could see that there were people that really wanted to like connect with him, and really wanted to talk to him, um, because he's a star. And I kind of felt bad because I've never seen Buffy the Vampire Slayer. you know, so I I don't know who he is. My wife knew who he was because he was on some show that she liked. Um, but I had no idea who the guy was until he came into our universe. And since he's been in the universe, I'm always asking, like, what's the end game here? You guys remember Plan 9 from Outer Space
Yes.
with Bela Lugosi, and he's mastermind. Obviously, it relates nothing to the actual movie, but he's the puppet master over all this. And I just keep thinking there's gonna be a documentary that Adam makes on the Dabbleverse, and I'm just gonna picture him being in the top quarter, just looking down, like shaking his head.
I
Yeah.
think that was the thing that. Oh, sorry, Nick. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. I was just gonna say, without giving it away, like Adam, one of the times he DM'd me, he asked me some questions, and I answered, and I'm like, I wonder why he asked me. Like, there's got to be something going on. Like, I mean, not with me. I mean, like as a whole. Like, he asked my opinion on something or what I thought of a certain somebody and all this and blah blah blah. And it came out of nowhere. So we weren't, we hadn't been talking lately or whatever. It wasn't like a continuation of anything. So yeah, he might have some kind of master plan going on somewhere or whatever.
Yeah, it's also interesting because he does, from what I understand, he will DM you and ask you what you think about somebody.
Yeah.
But he give us one sec, Dan. But later on you find out that he sent that same DM to like 40 people. I'm
Oh, right.
exaggerating, but like
I know
10
I'm
or
not the only
15.
one. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, 10 or 15 people, and you get a question from the guy, and you're like, you give him this. At least with me, I spend time. I'm thinking about what I'm gonna say, and I'll write this big long, big long thing, and then I'll realize it's like basically, yeah, everybody says the same thing, and then you realize, oh yeah, I was just one of many. Dan, can you hear us?
You guys believe in borderlines?
Do 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 do.
Hey, I'm the character behind Ghost Party, so you know, I know it's me. What's going on, buddy? Have you been listening to us
Just
at all, or are you just popping in?
I've been bouncing around NLO. Obviously, I can't look away from the Karmic X. I mean, I'm obsessed. I probably am more obsessed with Karmic X than anybody else right now. It's like it's a fucking trip, man, to watch him cook. And he's cooking right now. I don't know if you guys have been checking in on it, but he's in rare form right now. So
No, but
been bouncing
so
around.
we were asking the question earlier: how much of it is performance, and how much of it is real?
I would say 60% performative, 40% real. How's that sound?
That sounds
I think he's
reasonable.
I think he's definitely fucking hamming it up for the super tips and the super chats, but I do think there is a piece of him that's a little broken and is coming out. So he's letting that facade show. But I also think like when you watched him last night or these other nights where he's crying and then he turns away and he can't. He's so he's so broken up he can't even look at the camera. He's going to turn his seat away. It's like, okay, dude, I get what you're doing. You're hamming it up for those super tips and the super chats and stuff. So there is a little bit of performance art to what he's doing, but I do think there is a little bit of a middle-aged man. I think Schmuel, we even talked about this offline of a 41-year-old man coming to grips with the fact that he's not really where he wants to be in life, and that is an existential angst that a lot of us have been through, and he's showing it to everyone performatively on YouTube.
I saw the scene the other night where he was like, I can't. And he turns and he goes like this. And all I could imagine is he's sitting there going, I can't believe these fucking assholes think this is real, you know? But
Yeah,
yeah, maybe I'm wrong.
it was. Yeah, there was a moment where he turned because and I'm going to pull back the curtain a little bit on some of the what some of us have done over the years and the days and this, and there is a little bit of performative nature to sometimes what you do when you're got a camera on or you're doing a YouTube stream or whatever. People ham up things and there's works and there's things like that. And it definitely felt to me, especially when because he gave it away when he turned his seat all the way like 180 or whatever. Like he couldn't even let you see what was going on with his face. That to me tells me it's like, okay, I just don't want to crack up laughing right now because I am so working over the crowd. It was very P.T. Barnum, the marks, I'm going to get my super chats. I'm going to get my super tips. There's a little bit of an aspect of, yeah, he's crying and he's emotional, but there's also a part of like, if I really put on the waterworks right now, I could probably get another $50 in super tips. So let me turn my seat around 180 degrees, and I'm just not going to let anybody see what's going on. And it felt like that's what was going on with him.
I really don't want to do. I really don't want them seeing me cry. But Jesus, have you seen the money it brings in? All right, let's.
Dan, did you say coming out before?
You mean like I'm coming out? I want the world to know.
I'm coming out.
It's raining, man. Hallelujah.
Opinion. The other day, WATP were covering a self-deprecating story that Rob Saul shared, and Carl claimed Adam goaded the story out of Rob, which isn't true. Then, hold on. Whoa, sorry guys. Then Adam made a nasty comment in Rob's stream implying his mom groomed him, part of the self-deprecating story, which is one of those comments stretching the truth that makes certain shows unwatchable. Okay, yeah, I get it. I get it, but so I guess you're saying that WATP is unwatchable, or I'm confused a little
Yeah,
bit.
no, opinion. I definitely share that view. I've said it many a time about Carl that like if the premise or the pretense of the show is like, oh, I am a big nerd, and as a result of that, we're going to do stuff analytically. We're going to try to whatever logic and reasoning, all this shit. Carl's the same dude who said again after refusing to cover Steel Toe for years, calling Steel Toe boring show subreddit as well as Hackverse Anonymous hate subreddits. Then meanwhile, all good with Dabblers Anonymous. Every other post on Dabblers Anonymous is like, oh yeah, I want wishing death upon Stuttering John, talking about his kids, etc. This dude
John
refused.
deserved it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the difference. The same dude who refused to cover Steel Toe when he was pressured by his audience to, he farmed it out to Brian Johnson and whoever the fuck. When the Steel Toe divorce shit was was popping off, Carl, this has gotta be a work, or else Aaron is the biggest piece of shit on the earth. It's like, Carl, that information was readily available. And then he was going to hide behind this like plausible deniability that, oh, well, I said that it's either a work or he's a big, well, we knew that he was a giant piece of shit before. So yeah, if you're going to, there's nothing worse than a dumb nerd. Like, if you're going to be a nerd, you got to bring a certain level of analysis that a man can provide.
A real man would have been
A
able to do it.
real man.
Chow brought up something in the chat. He just has in here, which I can't find right now. And he said same thing with. Oh, here it is. He's talking about this is his comment on karmic. It's not the money. It's the addiction to attention. And he says same thing with MKE. I think with karmic, I think it's a lot about the money. I'm sure it's a lot about the attention too. With MKE, it really does seem to be just about the attention. But what made me think about how performative Karmic was last Saturday, because he'd been shitting. I think it was last Saturday. He'd been shitting all over MKE, just shitting, and then he got on. He was on with him on Brennan and Brennan got off, and within 2 minutes, these two guys were yucking it up. You know, so
I like to call it grab ass, Schmuel. They were. It was like 2 minutes in, they're playing grab ass with each other, and I don't know how KB felt about it. I was kind of let down. I'm like, go at it, like that's the biggest problem I have with Karmic X is he's one person on his show, and then he goes on another show, and he's very deferential, submissive almost. We did that with when he went on Steel Toe. He did it with KB. It's like he doesn't want to rock the boat. It's like, dude, we're bringing you on the show because you're this chaotic energy, and he doesn't get that. Like people are not signing up for Karmic X, the intellectual. They're signing up for Karmic X, the chaotic, force, the nihilistic force that can be brought to the table, and he doesn't get that when he goes on the other shows. And I think ultimately, if he doesn't, and I'm turning into a Schmuel right here, like analyze the Dabbleverse, get into the things. But if like if Karmic X really wants to be the character Karmic X, he has to understand what people are signing up for. It's not because, and I said this to, I don't forget who I said it to. There's 3 Karmic X personalities. There's the manic, like I'm drunk, I'm happy, I'm Karmic X, I'm the rock star. There's the submissive, I'm gonna kind of like kiss ass. I'm gonna laugh at all the jokes of KB, and then there's the depressive Karmic X. There's the spiral. I'm depressed. I'm crying, and send me super chats and whatever. And it's like people really want the first Karmic X. They want that manic energy. They want that excitement. They want you to do the shot and be excited and be in the Valley of Men and tell people to go fuck themselves and call Schmuel Buckman dickless. That's what people are signing up for. They're not signing up for depressive crying. Although I guess some people are signing up for depressive crying, which I think is that's a very negative thing to sign up for. But nobody is signing up for the submissive, laugh at all KB's jokes and be the little like the Ed McMahon sidekick Karmic. Nobody wants that Karmic. They want either the manic or the depressive Karmic. That's what people are signing up for. That's my read on the whole thing.
No, that's part of my big issue with him. He's gonna block Schmuel in his chat, block Schmuel on Twitter, talk unending shit about him, and then also he's a real man. Bro, send this elderly Jewish gentleman the link, Mr. Real Man. Again, if you think that he's a non-entity, he's so negligible, I can windmill dunk on this motherfucker. Do it. Right? There's the concept of blood sports. Like, just to fucking do it, bro. Like, it's very tiresome for me. Again, to your point, Dan, people are looking for the the type A karmic where he's going in. It's like, okay, don't do that in a walled garden where the scary Schmuel can't get you, but I can shit on like a two-way mirror. I can shit all over him, but also he can't have a rebuttal. Weak.
Yeah, so many of these Dabbleverse guys, they're not tough when they have someone else on. They're always tough like when they're by themselves or when that person leaves. Like I remember Stuttering John would famously get tough once he fucking booted somebody, and I think didn't Carmack do the same thing with you, Schmiel? Like he talks
They
all this
can
shit when
dish
you're
it
not
out,
around.
but
Right.
they can't take it.
Yeah. It drives me fuck. That's my biggest beef with Carmack is that he cucks to other men. He cucks to KB when he goes on. He doesn't. He's this tough guy when he's all by himself, fucking screaming. But even like when this isn't even face to face, this is on a fucking stream, and he can't even fake being tough or whatever. It drives me nuts.
You know, last week on MLC, he was talking all sorts of shit about me. They were sniping me. They were sniping this show, and after I went off, I went there and watched it a little bit, and he's just talking all the shit about me. And I got on there, and he was a pussy. I mean, he just like not a word. He didn't say anything. Um, so much so, KB backroomed him. You know, and we never got well, I got thrown off twice, so we didn't we didn't get back. And I'm anything but tough. You know, it's like I'm just I might ask you a few questions, but I'm not gonna. I'm also and I'm not going to cower to you or to people. But I was just like, that's why I keep thinking in my head. I'm like, he knows what makes him money. I think he's also afraid of Kevin. Like if he fights back, Kevin's gonna pop him off his show, and when he doesn't need those viewers anymore, that's when he'll pop off on Kevin.
It could be. Did you ever see the first time he went on? Remember the first time he went on Steel Toe? Like, and Aaron was like frustrated because he was this calm, cool. He's like, dude, where's the karmic I saw and blah blah blah. And Steel Toe's literally like, whenever you're feeling angry or this or that, just just email me, DM me, and I'll send you the link. Like literally, like Steel Toe's like, I'll go live anytime you're fucking manic. You can come on my show, and I can get the fucking the money and blah blah blah. And yeah, he's seen as like a meal ticket for some of these shows. And KB, I don't know if KB sees him as a meal ticket, but KB will bring on anyone that'll just yes him to death, it seems like, and can bring in some extra viewers. But yeah, it gets really, I don't know, really sad and pathetic. I can't stand, like I said, I'm beating a drum here, but I can't stand just how, like Dan said it best, just how submissive he gets on these other shows after acting all tough and everything. I think that submissive is the real him. I don't think he's like super submissive, but that's like not acting like no one's gonna act submissive. He's just, you can act fucking angry, you can act depressed, you can fake cry, but I think that's just like, I don't know. He thinks they're bigger than him or better than him or whatever. So he just cuts
Schmuel knows what's going on with that. Schmuel knows what, I mean, I could tell the story, but I mean, Schmuel probably knows better than anyone. Is Nick, everything you said is correct, and I was kind of alluding to that before. Is the real karmic X is the dismissive beta male. I lost my job. I live in my double wide trailer, and I'm depressed, and I don't have a girlfriend, and I live 40 miles away from the nearest Pizza Hut, and I'm kind of down in the dumps. But man, when that Crown Royal comes out, I am like Karmic X, the alpha male,
Right.
the badass, the Johnny Badass, the guy that gets all the chicks, the guy that everybody loves to fucking tune in for. And it's like this manic, alcoholic energy. And once again, it's not even, I don't want to get it too much into the alcoholism thing because I'm not a doctor and I don't want to judge that part of it. But there definitely is that liquid courage that comes out. And Steel Toe was signing up. He thought he was getting the liquid courage karmic, but he was getting the real karmic, which is just a beta male guy that lives in a double wide who just kind of laughs at your jokes and kind of goes along with it and doesn't want to rock the boat. But that's not really what people want. At least not. I mean, if you were friends with the guy, that's probably what you want. That's probably good enough to be like friends with him. But for like the pizzazz, the sizzle, you want the manic alpha karmic that did 3 shots at Crown Royal, and I'm calling everybody dickless, and I'm in the Valley of Men, and I'm gonna bang all these broads, and this, that, and the other thing, and that didn't show up for Steel Toe. It usually doesn't show up for MLC unless he's had a couple in him. And but that's real. That's the real Karmic X. That's really who he is. That's, or Ryan, or whatever his name is. And I don't want to dox him, but I think that's what he said his name was. That's who he is. Is that dismissive, or excuse me, submissive, regular guy? He's not really. He feels in his real life that he's a little bit cucked because he lost his job. He doesn't have gainful employment. He doesn't have a lot of friends. He's not married. He doesn't have a girlfriend. So he's overcompensating by creating this character, Karmic X Live, which is not really who he is. I mean, or it's his little superhero character, but that's not really. At the end of the day, when the alcohol goes away, that's not really who he is.
Yeah, I would agree I would agree with a lot of that. I mean, it's like sort of the textbook definition of whiskey muscles. It's like he drinks, he becomes the Hulk, right? It's like he's bigger and stronger, and it feels like he can do more. But I have to say about Aaron, Aaron over the years I've watched, he's just constantly trying to start beefs to keep himself relevant. And that was the first time I saw him. He was really clout chasing Karmic. Like he thought there was really something there, and he's like, "Oh, I can cuck this guy." Like Johnny Crutches was the farthest thing from Aaron's. Aaron was like, I don't have to deal with him anymore. I'll bring this guy Karmic in. We'll be making all sorts of money." And in the end, like everybody else, Karmic cucked Aaron, not the other way around.
Yeah.
It
That
was
was good.
that was fascinating to me, and I'm watching Aaron now trying to start beefs with people, and it was better said on Pretty Antisocial, but he's really firing random shots to see who fires back, because he wants to have the fight with Mersh. He wants to have the fight with other people, because he thinks that's going to get him viewers, and his numbers are just everything about this poor guy. Everything is down, you know. But that's my little thought on Aaron there.
It's kind of crazy how I hate, me of all people, I really hate to admit this, but Stuttering John, I don't think was wrong that a lot of these shows needed him, because now it's like everyone's looking like, I feel bad for like the Pretty Antisocials, like covering Aaron while everyone else is covering John or whoever. No, everyone's covering Aaron and everyone's covering it's like just like they're spreading everybody so thin once that fucking narcissist fucking asshole John left. And I think John needs a Dabbleverse too. I can't imagine he's making anywhere near the money. Not that he was making killer money here, but I mean, he's doing these fucking flea market fucking type events or whatever the fuck he's doing. But yeah, I hate to admit he's John. They needed John. Like somebody brought up the TSN going to super tips, and something they swore they were like never gonna do, and here they are.
I miss him every day. I really do.
Well, can I just add one thing, Nick? I agree with you totally, and I think, and now I feel like I'm going to be a Schmuel here with the Dabbleverse analysis, the state of the Dabbleverse. But everybody is chasing the dragon, right? It's this. You're trying to get that high that you had before, the Stuttering John high, we'll call it, for lack of a better term, and. I know I saw Nick in Fort Wayne was asking Dan, what do you think about TSN or whatever? And TSN is the perfect example of a show that is completely spiraling and doesn't know what to do because they put all their eggs in that John basket. And credit to the Meltons and the Carls, and and it's funny. I was saying to Deb, even the Schmuels of the world who are thinking like a little bit outside of the box of if you put all yourself into this one thing or this one person and you make it all about commenting on that person, that's not really the recipe for sustainability. Like, if you're thinking about, you put your MBA 101 hat on and think about like, hey, I want to make this show a long-term business endeavor. Maybe I don't want to like put all my eggs in the Stuttering John bucket, because I just don't know what the fuck's going to happen with this guy, because he's completely crazy. Now, I might get a nice bump, and I might get 1,000 people that are like really excited about hearing about what Stuttering John the stain he got on his shirt today, or he, spit on himself or whatever, or he did something stupid. And hey, you're going to get some super chats or some super tips, but then Stuttering John disappears, and then what the fuck happens with your show? And then, I mean, it's funny. Sometimes I will put on, and I don't watch the TSN network. I don't really care for it, but I will sometimes watch like what their show's about that night, and they always want to bring it back to Stuttering John. And I'm like, dude, he's not walking through that door. Like it's time to like think about what your next move is, because if you're gonna keep going back to that well, your Patreon, and I've seen the Patreon chart there. That Patreon chart is going to continue to go down, and you're going to go from 300 to 200 to 100, and people are not going to be tuning in. You've got to find the next thing, and that's why. I mean, now if that's all you care about, and you're Sully, and you're like, oh, that's all I know. Okay, well, that's fine, but you're not going to last 5 years. If you want to make this a 5-year or 10-year project, you need to be thinking about what the next step is. Like, how do I grow my network? And I feel like there's a lot of these shows that are not thinking about growing. They're just thinking about like, okay, well, what's in front of me? And Schmuel, you've been around long enough. You're an old timer like me. And you run a business. When you run a business, if you're just all you're thinking about is like the next week or the next month, you're fucked already. Like, you've got to be thinking a longer term. You've got to have a longer term strategy of like, where's my growth? And if I'm on the S curve and I've flattened out, there's only two ways the plateau goes. You either go up or you go down. And most of these shows every one of us is in a plateau. Even if you're just on the up and coming, you're either going to go down or you're going to go up. Which way do you want to go? And if you're going to say like, my show is about Stuttering John, well, guess what? I can tell you right now, I don't have a fucking crystal ball, but you're going down, because it's not going to be a long-term sustainability strategy. You need to think about growing what you're doing, if that's what you want to do, because otherwise you're going to go away in 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, 16 months, whatever it is, 2 years. That's where you're going.
Yeah, I look. This is just my observation of stuff, and I'm told that I'm wrong about 90% of the time. So assume that this is one of those times that I'm wrong. But what I think you said about Melton and Carl and other people, know that guys like Stuttering John come and go. Um, Melton, you can see him. He's differentiating himself, with the Hackamania, with Super Tips, things there. Carl goes on a bunch of other shows. And Shuli, they had to know that the end of days with John was coming sooner or later. And it's like there was no preparation for it. It's like, I never thought I was going to need a life preserver. Why would I have one on my boat? And that's not even, and that's minimal. That was minimal thinking. But I'm also, there's a part of me that's like, I watch Shuli and they're just sitting there. He's like smoking weed all the time. And I will say that my life I've never seen anybody that smokes that amount of weed that has planned for the future and taken action and yeah, and that stuff. And there's probably a certain amount of these guys think that we're not watching them because of Stuttering John. We're watching them because of them, and it's a real mistake, um, for lack of a better way to say it. You know,
Schmuel, you remember them saying that at the outset or even before Stuttering John left. I remember fucking Levy saying it, which should give you the time frame, that oh, well, if Stuttering John leaves again, we have enough canned and freeze dried Stuttering John to last us all of the nuclear winter. In the words of one beloved hot dog man. And how'd that work out? Like we're not watching again whether that was ever going to work. Like, oh, let's review the drool stain on Stuttering John's nip. Like, they're not even doing that. They're trying to branch out into this other crap. They tried to make KB their new Stuttering John. It panned out so poorly that these motherfuckers had to go to Super Tip so that they can obfuscate what they're actually making. And and now they're going back to the well of Steel Toe. Like getting into Steel Toe now in whatever Q2 of 2025. Jesus, and what are these comedic sages gonna add that nobody else can comment on?
Right. And Steel Toe is in his fourth quarter, right? Because
Yes.
once this thing happens, he goes to court in October. It's just that's it. At some point, it's like that's it. What it's even now, he can't talk about the stuff that makes him interesting.
Yeah.
Sorry, Schmuel.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, just to play devil's advocate as like someone that was a TSN fan, and they've kind of not totally lost me, but 90% lost me. I hardly watch anymore. But I remember when they did try to like roll out the Auntie Karen thing when John was still a thing, and they tried like a couple other things, and nobody wanted it. They wanted John. Like the two most popular shows were Uncle Rico and that fucking Blunder Years. Like that BS show they did in the morning was like that. I don't know if you guys ever watched it. That was always crazy to me because whatever anyone thinks of them, they did put a lot of production into Uncle Rico, and there was like no production in the BS show. They would just like it was like this. And I'm not shitting on shit, but it's like this is like what they would do, and they would just like try and think of things to say. But Schmiel, at least you have topics. They wouldn't even have topics. They'd like, anyone got anything? They'd scroll the internet, and it was bad.
Hey, it's me, Bob Levy.
Yeah, I love Bob though. I'm sorry,
But
but Bob by himself was not good either.
No.
I would support Bob because I liked him, not because I was entertained by the show.
Yeah, and a lot of these guys are reminiscent of Bob's career, right? Like it's almost Joey C like, except he has talent. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do this, but nothing ever happens. It's like I'm the greatest. I'm the greatest. The comedy club that they put together that bombed. His going solo. I never hear. We don't even hear about him anymore. And he's and other than he's got new teeth, I don't really know much. I mean, I don't know what's going on with him. And the other thing, like if you've seen, so Levy's been around forever, and basically his act today is the same as it was 20 years ago.
Yeah, just like John.
And it's very funny the first time you see it. Even the second time, you get some chuckles, but by the third time, it's essentially the same thing. Okay, I'm going to pick out the guy in the wheelchair. I'm going to pick out the black guy. There's probably an Asian guy over there, and it's just the same stuff. And I always get like, I hate when people tell me how great they are, because when you tell me how great you are, I'm like, my first thought is well, is this true or is this false? And then I start to look at but like the Levy thing, I would look at. Everybody loves Bob, but it doesn't seem to translate
Right.
into career success. And those guys like Otto and George and Bob and those, they were spending so much money like on coke and stuff. Like they'd go do a show and the money would be gone before they got home. So it's like, what do you do with your future? Somebody said in here earlier that somebody didn't plan because they thought they were going to die, and I'm like, oh, that's the Ray DeVito method to retirement. I'm going to die when I'm 58. That's what I'm going to do.
Hey Schmiel, I got to bounce, but I want to thank you for having me, my friend.
I thank you for being on, Nick. I'm going to wrap it up here in a couple of minutes anyway. And opinion. I really like Bob too, but he's only great when he has someone to bounce off of. I 100% agree. It's that's that's the problem. But you could also see like on TSN, he just wasn't into it anymore, and it was kind of the same dick joke over and over and over again. So I and in any event, I felt I didn't like the way he left TSN. I didn't think it was necessary to do that. And spill, I'm not a huge fan of spilling the beans after it's like I really kind of felt like Shuley sort of helped rescue him from obscurity, and they really did put something together. And I didn't think it was necessary to go on and do what he did after that. But that's just me. Any final thoughts, my friend Ranger?
Uh, I don't know. I could defer to the one of my favorite Cardiff Electric jobs, which is him saying, "Shuli's a piece of shit. Shuli's a piece of shit." Yeah, I know that doesn't really add much, but that's all I got.
Speaking of Cardiff Electric will be on with us on Tuesday night at 8 o'clock.
Big get.
Yeah, it's a pity fuck. Um, I I I asked and he agreed, so I was really happy that he said yes. So I'll have him on maybe for probably about an hour if I can get him to go that long. But yeah, as we wrap up, it's interesting. These characters are all interesting to me, and I wonder what it's going to be like to be sitting in my backyard in June of 26 and wonder who's still here and what happened to the ones that aren't. And like I frankly like I think a guy like Harmon could stay and be around. Like I think he could make a success, and as Chow said, relative success. Like John was netting $60,000 a year. That's a decent amount of money.
It's not
It's not
bad.
huge amount of money, and we love to shit on that. But 60 grand a year, it's not bad for sitting in your house for a couple of hours a day. Um, so, Karma could probably pull off something like that. I would hope, but we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. We'll see how much of this AI stuff he had, the ghost party and all that other stuff, where that stuff might have been all chambered. I, and I'm starting to think that. I'm thinking like he's had this shit sitting around for a long time and he's using it. I don't know what's new coming out. But I also feel like he does have a dramatic flair. He may be a little bit smarter than people give him credit for. But he's so mercuric, I guess would be the word. He's so up and down so frequently. Anyway, I got bugs flying around me. So NJ, where can we find you? And
You can find me at NJ Ranger 201 literally everywhere, YouTube, Twitter. If you want to add me on Steam, Discord, any number of places, it's the same shit.
now you're doing a show, right? Or you do a show?
I did a little test stream with Flimsy the other day, and I thought that it was just going to be, again, the title of it was Super Secret Test Stream, and somebody sent it to KB. KB responded to them, they're doing it, and then tweeted out the link. So that was again, it was a success, not in terms of keeping it a secret, but the stream was a success. So we're going to be keeping that up.
Yeah, cool. Flimsy's a good egg as well. And
100%.
you're one of my favorite people in the Dabbleverse.
Aw.
The voice of reason that blasts through the Dabbleverse. All right, man. We'll see you soon, and hopefully you have a great vacation.
Thank you very
And
much.
and hopefully we'll get to have you back on
I would love
soon,
it.
soon, soon. And like I said, I've been laying off you because you saved me the last time, and it was I did the by the way I did that to Harley Quinn last Saturday night. My mic went to shit, and I was like, I sent him a private chat. I said everything's all fucked up. Vamp for a little while, and he was like deer in the headlight look at his camera. It was very funny. So, all right. Good night, Ranger, and then I'll wrap it up with you guys.
Night, bro.
All right. Bye. All right, guys. I am getting ready to bail out. So, thanks everybody for coming in. Yeah, I've had this. I'm, as you know, I do this alone, and the chat's been flying tonight. And I'm sorry I didn't get to it as much as we could. Panhandler, I hate you both. I wouldn't expect anything less from Panhandler, and I don't even know who you're talking about. Opinion, good chat. Yeah, the chat in this room is pretty awesome. I could sit here and read it instead of actually talking, which would probably be better for you. Man, I got like the light has and the hat, they got my eyes looking very weird. So not that I don't get why Buckman won't get stealth on. I'm sure someday stealth will be on here, but no rush now. And oh, somebody's sending me I'm getting contrary opinion chats to something I said earlier, or text I should say. Schmuel, you tried stand up. Do you think you're funnier than Karmic? Uh, uh, Not something I have ever thought about. I will think about it, and I'll get back to you. Cigarette Jones, he should get Stealth and Dr. Chow on at the same time. Uh, Dudes, I have been sending Chow and begging Chow to come on for 3 months maybe, and he won't do it. So if you guys can push Chow to come on here, that would be awesome. Schmuel doesn't want people older than him on the show. Oh, is Stealth really is he really that old? Is that why he like wears the mask and hides kind of so oh Frank, if you think you're funnier than him, you can say it. We won't judge you. I think Karmic is significantly more talented than I am or ever have been. How's that? Um, and John Cage, yes, asking me if I went on Little Mirror. I went on with Mir and Chow. It's actually one of my better appearances, I think. All right, guys, that is it. Stealth is very old and chasing young girls. Hey, man, if what he's doing is legal, uh, all good for him. Yeah, Buckman came on Little Mirror. Great interview. Schmiel, what's with that stare? Are you on Adderall? No, it's because I'm looking down and my camera is up here, so it looks really fucking weird. I never noticed how weird my eyes were until you guys started pointing it out. Let's see, maybe we can do. They are weird, right? There's not much I can do about it. I'm old and I'm weird. John Cages. I'm so stupid. I watched you on Little Mirror. Look, dude, the reality is that there's so many shows going on that I get confused. I was talking earlier and I kept thinking Nick was on a show and it was Ranger that I had seen. So I'm an adult. Wear sunglasses like Chad. Yeah, I could and I should, right? But I am what I am. It's not really much that I could do. Um, it could be, it could be there is no filter. Frank, I hate to disappoint, but it could be a filter you're using. That and relax your face. If I were using a filter and this was the face you were getting, it would be the worst filter on the planet. So let's go, guys. I am out of here. Good night.